Y aquí está lo prometido. Lucho Díaz se fue al Bayern Múnich y les traigo las reacciones de los canales de hinchas de Liverpool. Mucho material había como una hora, quemé de cejas, quemé pestañas, pero aquí les traigo más o menos 10 a 12 minutos de material de varios hinchas hablando de eso. También les traigo al final comentario neutral de uno de los canales de la Premier League hablando de Lucho Díaz y el motivo por el cual se va. O sea, porque él como que no entiende por qué se va Lucho Díaz de Liverpool y más o menos concluye. Algo que más o menos dicen los hinchas durante el video, lo van a ver. Ellos tienen una fantasía y la ida de Lucho les ofrece abrir la puerta a esa fantasía. Yo también tengo una fantasía y se las voy a dar al final del video. Ya saben, suscríbanse al canal, denle like al video, el pulgarcito me ayuda mucho, todo eso es gratis, ¿no? Darle al pulgar, suscribirse, todo eso es gratis. La gente debe pensar, no, me suscribo y después me cobran, no. Todo es gratis. Suscríbanse, denle like al video, pulgar ayuda mucho, hace que el canal crezca. Gracias a todos los nuevos que se han suscrito, bienvenidos al canal. Ya saben cómo es esto, yo trato de traducir, dar noticias, pero traducir los canales de hinchas de diferentes equipos de nuestros jugadores colombianos. Ya va a venir Arias, que es muy bueno, que está en Inglaterra, y lógicamente el Crystal Palace, que por cierto, les recuerdo, Crystal Palace y Liverpool juegan el 10 de agosto, juegan la Community Shield, que es el campeón de la FA Cup contra el campeón de la Premier League juegan, y hay que hacerle fuerza al Crystal Palace para que lo vayan bajando al Liverpool un poco, porque están crecidos. Ellos dicen que están formando los nuevos galácticos, así que veremos cómo se da eso. Pero bueno, ya les voy a dar mi fantasía al final, los dejo con el video, disfruten y nada, escuchen claramente todas las opiniones. Están tristes, pero no tan tristes. Ahí los dejo.
I'm upset, I'm sad, I'm disappointed, I'm frustrated that we're never going to see him again. You know, in the Liverpool shirt, I was the last one to see him involved in the Liverpool squad, I guess you could say that, in terms of the open training at the Kai Tak Sports Arena a couple of nights ago. He really is one of the top 10 wingers in Europe, in my opinion. Been with Liverpool now for 3 years. Business-wise, I can understand it being a positive deal for all parties. You know, to get a player like that at that level with the experience that he's now got, Premier League winner. Yeah, I'm gutted because the song as well. You know, we've made T-shirts at the Cop TV of Lucho, and you know, I've actually met him. I was with him. I mean, I wasn't with him last night, but he walked past me last night, and I looked at him and thought, "Is that the last time I see Luis Diaz?" You know, in Liverpool training gear, and it was, and it really was.
Honestly, I feel the same about Luis Diaz. I think he has played his last game for Liverpool. Sad in some ways. I'm devastated about his song. I absolutely love his song. I love his dedication. I think whilst he's been a Liverpool player, he's gave absolutely everything. However, you know, Liverpool clearly don't want to offer him a new contract. Maybe it's wages, maybe it's length of contract. They just don't want to offer him that, with him being, I think at the moment, 28. And yet Luis Diaz clearly wants, you know, a better contract, a longer contract, and the two sides just won't compromise on it. It is what it is. There's a lot that's been done in this transfer window. I'd hate to lose Luis Diaz and then have no one else coming in to replace him. I think Liverpool will have to address that. If Liverpool didn't want him to go, they'd have offered him a new contract and gave him what he wanted and let him carry on playing for us. But for whatever reason, Liverpool might think there's a better player out there on the market. They might just not want to give him a new contract with the length of contract that he wants because of his age. He was a massive part last season. He sacrificed himself for the team playing in that number 9 and he did a great job. He probably had his best season for Liverpool in that time. And, you know, he goes with a Premier League around his neck for Liverpool and a couple of cups. So I think it will be sad to see him go just because of how much we adored, how much he's gave to us. But I hope he does still respect us. I hope he loved his time at the club.
It is a bit sad because Luis Diaz is a popular member of the team. He's a popular member of the squad. He wore his heart on his sleeve every single time because his winning mentality, his energy, intensity. It is going to be sad not seeing him on the pitch. We will miss someone like Luis Diaz, but what excites Liverpool, what excites me is what's going to happen next, what's coming round the corner as Liverpool engineered a bit more funds for the big one coming next week, the official approach for Alexander Isak. And that's what excites me, and that's what is exciting every single Liverpool fan.
by Díaz says football gonna miss Lucho, says Joseph. It's a very smart deal, says Stefan. That way we are able to sign Isaac. LFC Kid says no Lucho. Abzinho says wishing Lucho the best at Bayern as long as he doesn't play against us. Known says, to be honest, I wouldn't let him go, but if that's what he wants, then yes, that's good business considering his age and what they paid for him. Look, what Fabrizio says here, Lucho wanted to leave. Liverpool were not willing to offer him a new contract, you know? But what's for sure is we will miss him. Marcel says he was too wasteful, so it's okay. He brought so much more than just that, though. The fact that Lucho wanted to leave and the fact that this is a very good deal from a business perspective from Liverpool Football Club because he had 2 years left. He's turning 29 in January. I think it's a win-win situation on all parties. The only thing I don't like to see is I've seen quite a lot of Bayern fans be not happy about this transfer, like complaining that they're spending so much money on an oldish winger. And I'm not happy to hear that because I think they should be giving him all that love when he comes in because he's that type of player that's going to just give everything for the football club and you can't not love him. You know what I mean? You really can't not love him, I think.
I wanted us to keep Luis Diaz and I had a whole 180 because last summer, I was fine if we sold Diaz. Like I was so cool with it. And Diaz seems to be one of the most Marmite players at Liverpool Football Club because it seems like fans either love him or absolutely detest him. And I find it a bit weird because I sort of sit in the middle. I have a lot of time for Diaz, but at the same time, I can understand and see his limitations as well. I think £70 million for Diaz is fantastic business from the club and allows us to reinvest that money and improve on him, in my humble opinion. But he's not a rubbish player. I think I think it's so black and white of Diaz, it's unreal. So people will sit there and go, no, he's incredible. He had his best goal scoring season at Liverpool last season. And I've always said this, Luis Diaz is very much a purple patch player, but when he's in his patch, unplayable. But again, this is why I always say the GA argument can't just be solely used. You have to look at all the aspects around it. Is Diaz a good player? Yes. Is Diaz going to be a miss? In my opinion, yes, especially with his versatility. However, if we can find someone out there, Rodrigo, who can cover that versatility and maybe improve upon the player, then I'm all for it as well.
Certainly no hard feelings. I very much enjoyed watching Luis Diaz play in a Liverpool shirt. I think the last season was probably his best season for us. So I'm certainly not wishing him any ill feeling or anything like that. It's just the cycle of a football club, really. Players come in, players leave, and Diaz has always given 100% when he's out there on the pitch, even in very difficult circumstances with what happened to his dad. He always had my respect for the way he carried on and was very professional through all of that.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. I'm disappointed. I've been bracing myself for it. It don't make it any easier for me, though, because I really like Diaz. I think he's a brilliant player. I think he's downplayed a lot. Rivals, they know he's good, but for some reason, a lot of Liverpool fans don't rate him. But for his age and everything else, I guess 65 mil was a good deal. I think Diaz has been a good Liverpool player. And yeah, man, I'll miss Diaz, man.
For me, Luis Diaz is not a someone that I'm gonna celebrate him leaving. I probably would have celebrated him leaving last summer, but this year, obviously, he had his best season in a Liverpool shirt, and he absolutely was incredible on that left-hand side. I actually think, and it's funny because during this summer, when asked, I said if it were up to me, I'd sell Gakpo before I sell Diaz. So that's what I say. So I'd sell Gakpo before I sell Diaz. Of course, Luis Diaz for me was a pivotal player to us winning the league. He cooked for us. He had absolutely incredible performances for us in the false nine. He had incredible performances for us left wing this season. So, never forget the goal he scored against the goals he scored away at Old Trafford and stuff. So he's a very good servant for Liverpool Football Club, and he leaves as a Premier League champion, of which he contributed massively too. Let's keep that in mind. So, and to be fair, I said this during the year. Look, I'm happy to be proven wrong about many football players. And this season, Luis Diaz absolutely deserves to hear the words "thank you for your service," because he absolutely cooked this year. He absolutely cooked this year. But at the end of the day, look, if a player wants to leave, the player wants to leave. It is what it is. Like, there's nothing we can do about that. Like, obviously, there's information about how Liverpool offered him like contract extensions and shit, and he just didn't want to, like, he just didn't want to stay. So if the guy just wants to leave, then he wants to leave, and then there's nothing you can do about it. We're not sat here going like, oh my god, he's a snake or anything. No, but he just wanted to leave. He wanted a new experience for himself, and at the end of the day, we did great business.
Why are Liverpool doing it? Why are Liverpool allowing a player as talented, a player as dazzling, a player as brilliant as Luis Diaz to leave? Because I think the first thing that we need to do is acknowledge quite how good Luis Diaz is. Like, Luis Diaz is undoubtedly one of the best players in the league. He's one of the best players in the world in his position. That is how good he is. I genuinely mean that. I feel like if Luis Diaz played at a different team, or if Mohamed Salah didn't have that dazzling season that he had last year. Like, Mohamed Salah has actually had a twin peak, hasn't he? So if the stardust that was sprinkled upon Mohamed Salah by Arne Slot didn't quite have the impact that it did, I think that we would be talking about Luis Diaz as being one of the best in the world. But we didn't, because all of the focus was always on Mohamed Salah. We now have a situation where we can focus on Luis Diaz and we can actually acknowledge quite how brilliant he is. And Liverpool are letting him go. So, what can we understand here? We extrapolate from there. Liverpool are letting one of the best footballers in the world in his position leave. What can we glean? Are they a foolish club? No. Are they a selling club? Do they sell their best talent? No, not really. Not anymore. So what is going on here? Call me old-fashioned, but I think 2 and 2 makes a Christmas cake. And if we actually try and understand what is going on here, the fact that they are ready to let a player of Luis Diaz's quality leave, a player of Luis Diaz's quality go to Bayern Munich, the fact that they are bringing in an awful lot of money, I think it's fair to say that, quite simply, Alexander Isak is on his way to Liverpool. That's all I can glean from this. That is effectively the truth of the matter. I cannot see how anything else here can make any sense.
Así es, Alexander Isak, posiblemente el mejor centrodelantero de la Premier League el año pasado, y todos lo estaban buscando, pero parece que él quiere irse a Liverpool, o por lo menos ese es el rumor, y la gente de Liverpool está pues soñando y teniendo una fantasía enorme. Por eso decían, muchos decían, ojalá se vaya Lucho para que ese dinero vaya a Alexander Isak. Esa transacción no se sabe si va a pasar esta semana o en 2 semanas, pero supuestamente va a pasar. Esa es la fantasía de ellos, tener a Alexander Isak y con eso ir a ganar la Champions. Mi fantasía, que se encuentren el Bayern contra el Liverpool, digamos en la segunda ronda o tercera ronda. Se encuentren, Lucho les meta un gol y los deje por fuera. No sé qué ustedes piensan, dejen sus comentarios. Esto es Golazo, nos vemos muy pronto. Yo todavía tengo el video de Arias que les prometo, pero han pasado tantas cosas que no lo he podido subir, así que voy a ver cuando lo pongo, pero ya está casi listo. Así que esperen eso y quizás pasen otras cosas de Lucho. Yo también les traigo todo eso, así que estaré pendiente de todos los jugadores. La temporada en todas partes empieza a mediados de agosto. Bueno, los dejo. Esto es Golazo. Nos vemos muy pronto.